I'm doing pretty good in business and I'm making good money. If you're like a millionaire, start hanging out with multimillionaires.
If you get a win, you get an accomplishment, like you have 24 hours to celebrate, then tomorrow it's not irrelevant.
Once you start to hit that ceiling, go to the next level. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fire episode of the Winners Club podcast. My name is Brian Trent, your host, and I got the number one co-host right there, PJ Padua.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
And here at the Winners Club podcast, even when we don't win, we learn. And learning is a form of winning. So let's get right into it. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and something stood out to me like a sore thumb, like a good thing, right? Like it said, as you gain more success, as you gain more accolade, as you start to accomplish more things, you should not let it get to your head. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean to stay humble and like brush it aside, but it's also to stay grounded and true to who you are, and not to always believe the narrative that people are talking about you or saying about you, or your self-talk, which is like, oh, I've done all these great things, I'm such a great person.
Yeah.
I think when you hit that point, you start to lose yourself.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about today is just, what do we do? How should you like respond? And what are some things that you can like combat this I don't know, what is this, like a
Stigma?
stigma, you know what I mean?
Yeah, stigma.
Oh, that's a good one. So prime example,
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good in business and I'm making good money, better than the median person.
For sure.
Sometimes, I'm not saying I do this now, but it's like I see people do this and it's like all of a sudden they think they're the greatest thing, like God's gift to earth.
Yeah.
It's like, you're great, you're good at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
but I think once you kind of do that, you kind of stop growing.
Okay, yeah. I was just about to ask, like, what do you think, like, all the downfall is?
Downfall is you stop growing because you think you're the best.
Yeah.
You start tooting your own horn and you start thinking you're too good for certain things.
Yeah.
I was watching a meme or one of the posts on Instagram, like Ja Rule was in the first Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
He was paid $15,000,
Yeah.
but this was at the height of his fame.
Yeah.
And he was like, when he had the opportunity to go on Fast and the Furious 2,
Yeah.
he said, nah, I'm good. Like, I'm too good for that, basically.
Yeah.
And Ludacris took over.
Yeah.
And, obviously through the Fast and the Furious franchise, Ludacris has now made over $30 million
Jesus.
through working with the franchise, right? And so it's like, don't ever get too big and too full of yourself that you ain't,
Yeah, dude, that's such a big...
stop to take that job,
That's so massive to, like, look at and to see. That's really a perfect example of just thinking that you're too good, because that's a lot of money.
And now nobody knows Ja Rule. Like, I mean, yeah, his
his whole career tanked.
Yeah, I mean, he's nobody basically now.
Whole career tanked. Man.
Ludacris is still relevant, still selling out stadiums and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's something that I want to talk about today in the podcast.
Yeah.
And something that I learned is like, just try to stay grounded, understand where you came from, understand that yes, you've accomplished a lot, but at no point should you say, you should stop the learning, stop the growing, and start turning down, big jobs.
Yeah. What is I do, that does make sense, because as you do grow, you do have the opportunity to decline stuff.
Yeah.
Because you do, and I think as you should. There's some
Of
things
course.
that, just doesn't suit you or doesn't fit you. But what are some tips for the audience? Because I do think it's challenging of how to stay grounded and to block out all these beliefs that other people are telling you, and yourself too.
Goes back to getting around bigger people,
Yeah.
changing your environment, changing the room that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
Once you start to hit that ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
go to the next level,
Yeah.
right? So not saying you burn bridges or anything, never burn bridges, but if you're like a millionaire, start hanging out with multimillionaires. If you're a multimillionaire, start hanging out with some billionaires,
Yeah.
right? Get around them, and then that will quickly ground you
Yeah.
and show you like you ain't nobody.
Definitely.
And in this world, I don't care how big you get, there's always going to be somebody above you. And and I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. Like if somebody else can achieve that, you should strive for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Take the steps. So that's what I would say. And I think that will keep you on the right path of just continuing to not fall complacent, and you'll always like you'll stay relevant like Ludacris and not Ja Rule.
Yeah, hell yeah. I'd rather be Ludacris any day. Do you think that the things that people do say to you, like they're like, "Oh, Brian, like you're killing it, like yo, you make all this money, like you're top dog." Do you think that you should remember it, or do you think you should just wipe that out?
Because you got to learn to accept it. Don't just wave it off.
Yeah.
Like I notice a lot of people, they can't take a compliment.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Oh no." It's like, yeah, you could do that, but I think the right way is to say, "Hey, I really appreciate it. Thank you."
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep pushing.
Yeah.
And I always say that. I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, appreciate it
for sure."
I'm just trying to keep pushing to the next level.
Yeah.
And I think again, your words your thoughts becomes your words become your thoughts, and then it kind of becomes this one thing of who you are. So I always,
Yeah, I definitely agree too. I think it is important to realize that you are doing something, and you are, for lack of better words, maybe better than the median person. And I think that's something that you should use to your strength, but nothing that should carry on forever. That's like the equivalent of being like, "Oh yeah, back in high school, like I used to be varsity football team, prom king."
You're only as good as your next deal. You're only as good as your next, basically accomplishment, because that way, life is always changing. Life is pushing.
Yeah.
And, if you stop, things can quickly change, and you can become like a nobody.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Andy Frisella says like the 24-hour rule when it comes to your wins. It's like if you get a win, you get an accomplishment, like you have 24 hours to celebrate, then tomorrow it's not irrelevant.
I love it. I love that, actually, because it just shows like, yeah, hey, you deserve to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But don't just dwell on that, because then what happens is then you don't have another win.
Yeah.
And then you kind of start falling behind.
Yeah. Do you think there's any other ways to keep grounded other than, just like mentally, like activities or something?
Give back. I think giving back helps me stay grounded. Like when I went to Vietnam and I donated to the orphanage, that always kind of makes me feel makes me feel grateful.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, I like, it grounds you because number one, it realizes how good you got it.
Yeah.
And then it pushes you to also want to do more so that you can give more.
Yeah.
Now I understand not everybody wants to give, and so you know that if that's you, then okay, I don't have a solution for you. But giving feels good.
Yeah.
When you give from the kindness of your heart and you see the smile, it actually makes you feel really, really good. So that's one way to do it. Yeah,
I like that.
Like I said, this is a short podcast. It was just on my mind.
Yeah, I think it was a powerful podcast.
I just noticed so many people, like, they let it get to their head, and then I'm like, who are you? Like, and I get it. Like, you said it. You have to say no to certain things. Like, otherwise, like right now, my Instagram, if I just sat there and replied to every single DM or sat down and did a consultation with everybody for free, and sometimes I will do it because I love it and I genuinely want to help people. But if I just did that, I mean, I wouldn't get anything done. So I have to say no. And so people are like, "Oh, definitely. You changed." It's not that I changed, bro, but now it's like it used to be one DM. Now it's like 5, 6 a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't sit there and just respond to everything. So
definitely.
But that's why I'm putting out these content. I'm putting out the YouTube so you guys can watch it.
Yeah.
And eventually we'll probably have a community. We're going to build a community to where we can all help each other.
Yo, so if you guys are listening right now and you're in his DM asking for some consultation, we do free consultation every single week. It's on the podcast, guys, so tune in for that. But I'm going to leave it at that. That was a very powerful podcast, in my opinion. So, guys, if you're out there, there's always something else that you could do. There's always somewhere bigger and better. I'm not saying that you can't be that person, but go learn from them and go reach that level and then find the next one, guys. Stay grounded. Peace.